welcome to the Tampa RV Show. I'm Trey Edwards, product manager of the GH1 here at Tiffin Motorhomes, and I'm looking forward to showing you what we have put together for the new 2026 model year.
And I'm John with Owl, and you might be wondering why I'm standing here, and that's because this gentleman came to me a while back at a show and hatched an idea that I fell in love with, and that is Owl Ready. And what that means is they have gone through the painstaking process of working with me and our team to make sure that the GH1, when it shows up to you, it is ready not just for adventure, but for installing all the best aftermarket upgrades and making that as seamless as possible. So I don't know if you want to start out or you want me to go or talk about what we worked on together.
Yeah, so just real briefly, like the concept of it is, well, I'll talk about background here for a sec. So we have been trying really hard to stay connected with our customers as much as possible. I pick up the phone all the time and just call our owners, and I'm real active in the Facebook group. On the way down here, I've met up with 3 or 4 of them, just had lunch, had dinner, just say, hey, how are you liking your van? Just getting that kind of valuable feedback. And what we kept hearing, what we kept seeing consistently, is that the aftermarket, of which Owl is a huge part of, is really what drives the whole adventure van market. It's not us, it's not any of our competitors making the vans that's driving the market. People look at, when they're thinking about buying a van, they're walking around, they're looking inside, they're thinking about how they're gonna customize it, what they're gonna do to modify it. And the biggest pain point I kept seeing was people getting frustrated with certain things they wanted to do, not being able to do them after they bought the van. Because you buy the van, you buy this, it's not cheap, right? And you have in your mind a specific vision for what you want to accomplish with it. Well, if you are planning on going off grid for a week, 2 weeks at a time, and then you buy it and you realize, I can't put a bigger fuel tank in there, or I can't mount a rear tire on the back, or spare tire on the back, or I can't install the camera. And that's one thing. It's a perfect example of is the camera and this rear tire mount. And we'll go over and look at those here in a sec, but they're perfect examples of things that really impact function that only a percentage of people want. So it doesn't make sense for us to go ahead and pre-install all your boxes or pre-install the camera, because that way we're forcing everyone to pay for it. But when you want to put a $350 camera up there, a rear view camera mirror, and then you go take it to a shop and they're like, yeah, it's going to cost $2,000 to wire it, because we got to pull out all the wiring from the front and the back of the coach to put a camera back here. That's very discouraging. It's very frustrating. And in the van space, it's known as the van tax, is what everyone calls it. It's you buy your Sprinter van, and then every time you try to do something to it, you realize it's an extra $1,000 here, $2,000 there. Everything just seems ridiculously more expensive for no reason. And so that's why we approached Owl. I approached Owl and was like, hey, what can we do to make this experience better for the consumer? What can we do to solve these pain points one by one? And so John and I sat down and we're like, okay, what are the top selling products in the adventure van space in general? Not just what John makes or what Owl makes, just in general, what are people buying the most of? And let's go down this list one by one. Say, okay, is our product easily compatible with this? Is it with this? If it's not this, what can we do to change that? And so we took that whole list and we made sure that we are the easiest van on the market to put all these upgrades on. And I'm very proud of what we have today. And I'll turn it over to you, John, to kind of walk through a lot of the different changes that we've made and show everyone kind of what we did.
Well, to Trey's point, not everything on here is Owl or self-serving, so that's just a little attaboy for me that I'm that altruistic. But he is right. Things like fuel tanks, I know what the upgrades are that the majority of customers do to their Sprinter vans after they pick them up. So how can we take this van and make it a dead simple process for the person to install whatever upgrades they want, do it seamlessly, and not have the pain of, talking about that rear view mirror. So having a digital rear view mirror, seeing out the back of a built out van can be difficult. The problem is running a wireless mirrors suck, running a wire all the way from the back to the front, once you have a built out van, huge pain. When the van is empty being built, running that one piece of wire fairly insignificant and inexpensive. And so my hat's off to the team at Tiffin because they bothered to ask the question, what can we do to make this easier? So things like running that wire, things like making sure that an extended range fuel tank, which again, we don't make, but making sure that those fit on this vehicle, all the water tanks, all the various plumbing and hoses are run in different areas so that we can add those long range fuel tanks after. And then most importantly is the Owl Ready, self-serving in this regard. And if we want to come around to the back, in fact, we should have started over there, but we'll go back there. I'll just make it as complex as possible. If anybody knows Owl, they know that we're fairly well known for our rear carriers. And one of the biggest things that Trey was talking about is the hesitation to want to drill on a van. Now, I know people don't like to drill. We originally invented no drill systems, so with the newer vans, this is the absolute most robust and structural way to mount. And so this hole is the only thing that's stopping you from just bolting a ladder tire, bolting a tire carrier. And we'll also have a plate over here for our B2, B2 Pro, Sherpa, etc. And these are mounted in an area where it's meant to interface and index with the structural sheet metal behind, so it's super strong. This plate comes pre-installed. Tiffin's gone out of their way to already drill and paint and do everything needed for this, so that when you receive the van, you literally hold the ladder up with a friend and put the bolts in and you're done. So it makes it dead simple. We tried to also make this plate kind of more aesthetically pleasing. So instead of steel, we machined it out of aluminum. We added some text, the GH1 on there. And this may change over time as we refine the aesthetics, but the idea is you can, on a Saturday in your driveway, knock out an entire rear door system on your vehicle without having to drill any holes. And I think that's a massive step forward.
Well, and to kind of speak to philosophy there for a second, what makes the GH1 great is three things that I like to say. Component quality, the term I like to use is thoughtful engineering, and as of this model year, our focus is on aftermarket compatibility. So with that component quality and thoughtful engineering, what we're looking for is we're looking for vendors that are like-minded in that respect, is people that prioritize that component quality and that thoughtful engineering. So this plate right here, like you said, machined aluminum, it looks good, it's very high quality. It's not something that's just gonna, that people are gonna take off. Like even if you're not gonna use this, if you're gonna put on a different brand of rear door mount, you can still do that. This shouldn't be in your way, but you're not gonna.
What lunatic would do something like that?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, obviously, it's very easy to put that on. That's probably going to be preferred because, as you said, people don't like drilling that on. When I went and I went in our Facebook group and I went through and I was like collating posts. I'm like, okay, what are people putting on that's most popular? This rear door carrier, the rear door carrier from Owl, was by far the most popular add-on. So I started talking to people that put them on. I said, okay, what is your pain point here? And that became very obvious very quick. I met up with one of our owners this past weekend, Brian, and he told me that he had sketched, drawn it out, like taped out like 5 different times, and he was like really nervous to sit there and drill into it because like these vans aren't cheap. Like you buy this van for a lot of money, and you put what you want to put on there, and you're being asked to drill into it. And you know, if you mess that up, that's not covered by your Mercedes warranty or your Tiffin warranty because you broke something. So people are really hesitant to do that. So most of the time they end up going to a shop, they end up having to pay more money. That makes it inaccessible, that makes it more intimidating to do. And so with this, that takes the most popular mod that we've ever seen for the GH1 and makes it, how long do you think it would take to install? 5-10 minutes?
Probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, like it takes it from a very either a very complex, nerve-wracking DIY or a much more expensive install, and now it's a 10-minute easy DIY install with a friend. And so again, it
also saves them time and money if they were to come into an Owl installation center and had a bunch of work done. You know, all of a sudden, a lot of the expense of installing these things is gone.
Yeah.
And so we can concentrate on the other items and knock these out at, you know, a super discounted rate or something if they want to install carriers and not do it themselves.
Yeah.
It also just, to me, it just makes everything feel really thoughtful and finished. So it's the ability, and whether we use it with Owl stuff or whether another company makes stuff that bolts in there too, it's just having that accessibility to the aftermarket, I think, is a major competitive advantage of the GH1. So we talked about the fuel tank. So we actually sent you all a fuel tank.
Yes.
Because,
thank you. Appreciate that.
Again, we don't make it, but it's one of the #1 things. And whether you buy it from us or not, extended range fuel tanks are like worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the only thing that limits your adventures is how much hydration you do, if you will. But we've got the tank. We talked about the rear view mirror, which is huge too. The Wolf boxes not only have the digital rear view mirror, but they have a dash cam too.
Yeah.
They have a 4K dash cam, and anyone that's
reliability.
It's in this day and age with all the insurance fraud and people doing weird stuff and the number of times I've been cut off, it's great to have that front dash cam. And then let's talk about the floor mats. So again, we don't make floor mats, and well, I guess we do. We have one set of floor mats that we make, but we don't sell many floor mats. But it's one of the things that people like to make their vehicles feel cozier in winter, also have something that's really easy to clean. I love coin flooring, but you know, when you get out of the shower or something and you want something soft under your feet, I know like Inhabit makes floor mats. We make a C-Deck floor mat. And so what they've done is they actually put in strategic kind of, I guess it's mounting points. It's wood, right? You put wood in there.
So underneath the surface there, they're invisible until you need them. But if you take the standard different mats and you want to install those permanent mounting points, when you drill in there, you're going to find a solid wood backer board to drill into instead of that, because this is very premium in terms of insulation, in terms of quality, but the one disadvantage this has over a much more inferior plywood flooring is screw retention. And so this adds that screw retention, so you have that one quality that plywood has basically, combined with all the qualities you have of this kind of premium flooring.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I saw the CAD of this, I think it's like a honeycomb shape or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like a lattice work. We might be on the RV show highway. It's like a lattice work of trapped air is how you insulate things. And so instead of having solid plywood, it traps air to help insulate the floor, but air doesn't hold screws very well. And anyone that's ever tried to screw into drywall or plastic knows that it's not a great thing to screw into. So they went out of their way to put those wood blocks in around, and we can identify those on a schematic, but it allows you to mount floor mats that snap in and out for easy washing. I know a lot of our mats and the Inhabits come out and you can pressure wash them, etc. Which once you get one of these and you get your animals in there and your muddy boots and stuff like that, you're going to want to take them out to wash them. But overall, I'm just super excited to be working with Tiffin, and this kind of is the first venture of Owl Ready, which is a concept that we've really wanted to do, and I'm so pumped that Tiffin was willing to kind of jump off this proverbial cliff with us, because this is really the first time the RV industry has had an opportunity to have an aftermarket, because so many of the chassis have been so bespoke to the different builders. And so I think this is a new chapter for the industry, and just focusing on the customer, making it easy for them. So really excited to see how you're going to upfit your GH1 with Owl parts or those other guys.
Well, and to talk to that for 1 second, like you were saying, you're talking about the philosophy of working with us. If you wanted to make it better for the consumer, right? And that's one reason why this partnership has been something that we're so excited about. It's like when we talk to you, that passion is very evident. You used a word a little bit ago, altruism. You kind of used it jokingly. But the reality is, if we called up pretty much anybody else and talked to them about a partnership like this, the conversation very quickly becomes, what of your parts are we going to put in here in order to have your logo on there and bring your following over and whatnot. I don't think at any point in this whole conversation with us over the last several months have you even really pitched us like, hey, can we sell you this, sell you that? It's to be quite frank, it's been give on your part, and we're appreciative of that. But that also speaks to why we're so excited about the partnership, is because that's the same mindset that we have. That's why Tiffin is legendary for our service. It's because even you can follow the warranty to the letter, but at the end of the day, a lot of that text in there is all liability to protect the company and whatnot. But at the end of the day, what sets Tiffin service apart from anybody else, won't say any names, but when you need to get back on the road, we get you back on the road, whatever it takes. And like that's the Tiffin way. It's like Tiffin is still run by the Tiffins. Yeah. Like I go to work every day and I'm running across Bob Tiffin, the founder in the hall. I work closely with Lee Tiffin and Trent Tiffin every day. It's like we're not some big corporate company. I mean, we make a lot of RVs, but the reality is we're still a family company. So that mentality, which has been very present in the van industry in general, is why I think we've made such a good fit into that culture in general. But Al in particular, I just want to thank you for that approach, because that's something that we have in common. Again, your component quality, thoughtful engineering, very important to you. Aftermarket compatibility, obviously that's why we're working together, but that whole mindset of, I love the word you use, altruism there. Like, I think that perfectly encapsulates the philosophy that we're trying to bring to this market and that you guys already have. And I think it's why we work well together and looking forward to it. But again, a good product is all about providing solutions to problems. It's all about taking pain points and figuring out how to reduce them. And that, I think, is what we have. I like to think we've done it very well in this 26 GH1, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's a great vehicle. If you get a chance to see one in person, be sure to swing by, whether it's at this show, the Adventure Van Expos, other RV shows. Come check out a GH1. We got some other stuff planned that we're working on together that I could tell you, but I have to kill you. I've always wanted to say that. So we got some more stuff cooking, and I think it's going to be an exciting partnership going forward. And if you see one of these rolling down the road, and you got one of those owl plates on the back, you just got to honk at them, tell them, get that ladder tire carrier ready. So anyway, thanks for working with us, and I wish you guys all the success with the GH1, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.